All right, hello. We are going to look at the zero product property, exactly what this is, what this means, how it works, and what it enables us to do. First thing we're going to start with is if we had two numbers, and I have two numbers hidden underneath these two sticky notes over here. And if we do have two numbers and we multiply them together and we get something like 144, then we know those two numbers could be, well, any number of things. They could be big numbers, small numbers. They could be negative numbers, both negative or both positive. We don't know. If this number is 32, a lot of possibilities. They could even be fractions, decimals. But if these two numbers multiply to get 0, we know something very important. We know either this number is going to be 0 or this number is going to be 0. Doesn't matter which one. One of them has to be 0. That's the only possible way two numbers can multiply to get 0. So I have two numbers here under these sticky notes. If we guess, trying to guess what numbers are underneath here, if they multiply to get 32. I don't know. We don't know. But I'm going to tell you these two multiplied together are going to equal 0. So we know one of these is going to be 0. The other one's actually a number that I have already said in this video. Multiply those two together, they get 0. We know one of them 0. Doesn't matter which one. Just turns out the one on the right was 0. The other one was 144. So that is the basic premise of the zero product property. Is there's a product of two numbers. If there's a product of two numbers and it equals 0, the product is 0, then one of those two numbers is equal to 0. Let's look at how this is related to what we're doing. Let's say we have two numbers being multiplied together, but instead of just two numbers, I'm going to say those two numbers are, let's do x minus 5 and 2x plus 1. This number, whatever that is, times this number, whatever that is equal to 0. And I'm writing 0 on the left side for a reason. We'll look at something similar in just a minute. If this parentheses times this parentheses equals 0, then either this parentheses equals 0 or this parentheses equals 0. One of the two must equal 0. Either one, it doesn't matter. So we're looking at some possible solutions, values for x that will make the equation true. Those are solutions of the equation. So I have an equation here, and I'm going to solve this by adding 5 to both sides. And we get x equals 5. That's one solution that would make that equation true. For the other one, I'm solving to get x by itself. Subtract 1 from both sides. 2x equals negative 1. And we're going to take that and say, divide both sides by 2. We get x equals negative 1/2. We have two solutions to the equation, and if we checked it by plugging them into the original equation, we would see they do both. Either one of them would make the equation true. That's one example. Let's do another one. And I'm going to change this a little bit. Instead of doing an equation, we're going to look at a function, f of x. Let's say f of x equals x plus 4 times negative x plus 2. And if they have a situation like this and they're asking us, find the zeros of the function. Those are the places where the y value, which is f of x, is equal to 0. So this is really the same as saying, find out when these two things equal 0. What values of x will make this function equal 0 for the y value? So it's really the same thing that we saw up here, but it's just worded a different way, and it's talking about functions now, but the process is the same. So we're going to take the first factor, x plus 4, and set it equal to 0. We're going to take the second one, second factor, negative x plus 2, set it equal to 0, and now we're going to solve the two equations. Subtract 4 from both sides, x equals negative 4. I'm going to add x to both sides. I'm going to save a step by doing that. X over here equals 2. 2 solutions. We've got it. Here is one more I want to show you where f of x is equal to 5x plus 1 times x. 5x plus 1 times x. So there are 2 factors again. One of them looks a little bit odd to us right now in parentheses like that. We don't usually write in parentheses, but it can happen like that. That is one of the factors. This is the other one. So we're going to say 5x plus 1 equals 0, and then x equals 0. Well, solving this one for x is kind of nice. X is by itself. So if x equals 0, that would make that function be 0 for the y value. That's a 0 of the function. And then this one we're going to solve. Subtract 1. 5x equals negative 1. Divide by 5. And we get x equals negative 1/5. There we go. There it is, our second solution to the equation. Now, one thing, a heads up, if you have some practice assigned to you on Khan Academy, or if you go to Khan Academy and do these, for them to figure out if you got the answer right, the way they've programmed it is they ask for the smaller value and the larger value. The smaller solution and the larger solution. Smaller, make sure you remember, more negative is smaller. That would be negative 4, and that would be 2. I made it so you couldn't see it. There we go. Smaller and larger. That's one way to make sure you're really careful with that. If we were doing this problem, the smaller is the negative one, and 0. And on this one, of course, smaller would be negative 1/2, the larger would be 5. So when you're putting those in, it's important to get those in the right places to get those answers right. That is the zero product property, why it works, how it works, and how we can use it. Thanks. See ya.